Everyone was out of their desks and playing except for Jack. It was 8:05, and Mr. Martinez still wasn't there, which could only mean one thing: a substitute teacher. The door burst open, and there stood the pirate. His peg leg thumped on the floor as he walked to the bird. "My name is Pirate Chalkbeard," he said. He pulled back his sleeve, showing a long piece of chalk in place of a hand. The students gasped. Pirate Chalkbeard wrote his name on the board. Everyone stared except Jack, who was busy drawing. Pirate Chalkbeard taught the lightning speed. In literature, he read to them from Treasure Island. In P, they pretend the Jungle Gym was a pirate ship. In geography, he held up a giant map and pointed out the oceans. The students laughed and tried yelling, "Ahoy, where's Curvy Dog?" Pirate Chalkbeard thumped to the back of the room. "What have ye there, young Jack?" he asked. "Have you heard a word of mine all the way?" "Aye," said Jack. Pirate Chalkbeard leaned over Jack's desk. He looked at his notebook, then looked at Jack. "May I?" he asked.
Jack nodded, and Pirate Chalkbeard lifted the notebook and stared at it for some time.
Jack nodded, and Pirate Chalkbeard lifted the notebook and stared at it for some time.
It was a drawing of a pirate surrounded by skeletons.
It was a drawing of a pirate surrounded by skeletons,
but putting up a wonderful fight.
a wonderful fight.
At last, Chalkbeard handed the notebook back to Jack.
At last, Chalkbeard handed the notebook back to Jack.
It's a beauty,
It's a beauty,"
the pirate cried.
the pirate cried.
He wiped away a tear with his chalk hand.
He wiped away a tear with his chalk can.
It left a white smear down his cheek.
It left a white smear down his cheek.
At last, he cleared his throat and stomped back to the front of the room.
At last, he cleared his throat and stomped back to the front of the room.
It's time to dig up me booty, he said.
"It's time to dig up my booty," he said.
Your what?
"Your what?"
Boy asked.
a boy asked.
Me treasure, Pirate Chalkbeard said.
"Me treasure," Pirate Chalkbeard said.
He opened his chest and pulled out shovels.
He opened his chest and pulled out shovels.
He held up an old map with a black X painted on it.
He held up an old map with a black X painted on it.
The treasure appeared to be near the
The treasure appeared to be near the swings.
To the playground, he cried.
To the playground, he cried.
The students followed their substitute teacher out the door to the playground.
The students followed their substitute teacher out the door to the playground.
The class started digging
The class started digging.
and flew into the air.
Sand flew into the air.
Heave ho!
Heave ho!
Cried the pirate.
Cried the pirate.
Finally, they heard a clink as they hit something solid.
Finally, they heard a clink as they hit something solid.
Chalkbeard lug out an enormous wooden chest.
They helped Pirate Chalkbeard log on an enormously wooden chest.
He creaked open the lid.
He creaked open the lid.
Inside were pirate costumes.
Inside were pirate costumes.
The class pulled them out in a rush.
The class pulled them out in a rush.
By the time Jack reached inside the treasure chest,
By the time Jack reached inside the treasure chest,
there was nothing left.
there was nothing left.
Pirate Chalkbeard winked,
Pirate Chalkbeard winked,
off his hat,
took off his hat,
set it on Jack's head.
and set it on Jack's head.
I was once a shy pirate myself, you know, he said.
I was once a shy pirate myself, you know, he said.
You were?
You were?
Jack asked.
Jack asked.
I,
The pirate said.
Jack felt the brim of the large hat and smiled.
Jack felt the brim of the large hat and smiled.
Thank you, Captain, he said.
Thank you, Captain, he said.
You wear it well,
You wear it well,
Beard said.
Chalkbeard said.
Remember,
Remember,
isn't the
matey,
size of your voice that matters.
it isn't the size of your voice that matters.
It's the size of your heart.
It's the size of your heart.
I'll remember, Jack said.
I remember, Jack said.
Jack grinned.
Jack grinned.
I know why it takes pirates so long to learn the alphabet, he said.
I know why it takes pirates so long to learn the alphabet, he said.
Said Chalkbeard.
Oh, said Chalkbeard.
And why might that be?
And why might that be?
Because they spend years at sea, Jack said.
Because they spend years at sea, Jack said.
Chalkbeard laughed.
Chalkbeard laughed.
So we do, he said.
So we do, he
He
said.
stroked his beard. We also get stuck on R.
We also get stuck on and connections.
Write
Writing.
a fictional The Pirate Substitute,
두 번째,
written by Torrin Anderson.
The Pirate Substitute, written by Turner
Illustrated
Etherin,
by Ingvar the Terrible.
illustrated by Egbert the Treble.
Focus question. What lesson? Everyone was out of their desks to play except for Jack.
Everyone was out of their bags and playing except for Jack.
It was 8:05,
It was 8:05,
and Mrs. Martinez still wasn't there,
and Mr. Martinez still wasn't there,
which could only mean one thing.
which could only mean one thing:
A substitute teacher.
a substitute teacher.
The door burst open, and there stood a pirate. His peg leg
The door burst open and there stood a pirate.
thumped on the floor as he walked to the board.
His peg leg thumped on the floor as he walked to the board.
Me name is Pirate Chalkbeard, he said.
My name is Pirate Chalkbeard, he said.
He pulled back his sleeve, showing a long piece of chalk in place of a hand.
He pulled back his sleeve, showing a long piece of chalk in place of a hand.
The students gasped.
The students gasped.
Pirate Chalkbeard wrote his name on the board.
Pirate Chalkbeard wrote his name on the board.
Everyone stared except Jack,
Everyone stared except Jack,
who was busy drawing. Pirate Chalkbeard taught at lightning speed.
Pirate Chalkbeard taught at lightning speed.
He read to them from Treasure Island.
In
PE,
literature,
Pirate Chalkbeard taught at lightning speed. In literature, from Treasure Island.
he read to them from Treasure Island.
They pretended the jungle gym was a pirate ship.
In PE, they pretended the jungle gym was a pirate ship.
A giant map and pointed out the oceans.
In geography, he held up a giant map and pointed out the oceans.
The students laughed and tried yelling ahoy and scurvy dog.
The students laughed and tried yelling ahoy and scurvy dog.
Pirate Chalkbeard thumped to the back of the room.
Pirate Chalkbeard thumped to the back of the room.
What have ye there, young Jack?
What have ye there, young Jack? He asked.
Have ye heard a word of mine all day?
Have you heard the word of mine all way?
Aye, said Jack.
Aye, said Jack.
Pirate Chalkbeard leaned over Jack's desk.
Pirate Chalkbeard leaned over Jack's desk.
He looked at his notebook
He looked at his notebook,
and looked at Jack.
then looked at Jack.
May I?
May I?
He asked.
He asked.
Jack nodded, and Pirate Chalkbeard lifted the notebook and stared at it for some time.
Jack nodded, and Pirate Chalkbeard lifted the notebook and stared at it for some time.
It was a drawing of a pirate
It was a drawing of a pirate
by skeletons,
surrounded by skeletons,
but putting up a wonderful fight.
but putting up a wonderful fight.
At last, Chalkbeard handed the notebook back to Jack.
At last, Chalkbeard handed the notebook back to Jack.
It's a beauty,
It's a beauty,
the pirate cried.
the pirate cried.
He wiped away a tear with his chalk hand.
He wiped away a tear with his chalk can.
It left a white smear down his cheek.
It left a white smear down his cheek.
At last, he cleared his throat and stomped back to the front of the room.
At last, he cleared his throat and stomped back to the front of the room.
It's time to dig up me booty, he said.
It's time to dig up me booty, he said.
You're what?
You're what?
A boy asked.
A boy asked.
Me treasure.
Me treasure,
Pirate Chalkbeard said.
Pirate Chalkbeard said.
He opened his chest and pulled out shovels.
He opened his chest and pulled out shovels.
He held up an old map with a black X painted on it.
He held up an old map with a black X painted on it.
The treasure appeared to be near the swings.
The treasure appeared to the near the swings.
To the playground, he cried.
To the playground, he cried.
The students followed their substitute teacher out the door to the playground.
The students followed their substitute teacher out the door to the playground.
The class started digging. Sand flew into the
The class started digging.
air.
Sand flew into the air.
Heave ho,
Heave ho,
cried the pirate.
cried the pirate.
Finally, they heard a clink as they hit something solid.
Finally, they heard a clink as they hit something solid.
Lug out an enormous wooden chest.
They helped Pirate Chalkbeard lug out an enormous wooden chest.
He creaked open the lid.
He creaked open the lid.
Inside were pirate costumes.
Inside were pirate costumes.
The class pulled them out in a rush.
The class pulled them pulled them out in a rush.
By the time Jack reached inside the treasure chest,
By the time Jack reaches inside the treasure chest,
there was nothing left.
there was nothing left.
Pirate Chalkbeard winked, took up
Pirate Chalkbeard winked,
his hat,
took off his hat,
and set it on Jack's head.
and set it on Jack's head.
I was once a shy pirate myself, you know,
I was once a shy pirate myself.
he said.
You know, he said.
You were?
You were?
Jack asked.
Jack asked.
The pirate said.
The pirate said.
Jack felt the brim of the large hat and smiled.
Jack felt the brim of the large hat and smiled.
Thank you, Captain, he said.
Thank you, Captain, he said.
Arr, you wear it well,
You wear it well,
Chalkbeard said.
Chalkbeard said.
Remember, matey,
Remember, matey,
it isn't the size of your voice that matters. It's the size of your heart.
it isn't the size of your voice that matters. It's the size of your
I'll
heart.
remember, Jack said.
I'll remember, Jack said.
Jack grinned. I know why it takes pirates so long to learn the alphabet, he said.
Jack grinned. I know why it takes pirates so long to learn the alphabet, he said.
Oh, said Chalkbeard.
Oh, said Chalkbeard.
And why might that be?
And why might that be?
Because they spend years at sea,
Because they spend years at sea,
Jack said.
Jack said.
Chalkbeard laughed.
Chalkbeard laughed.
So we do, he said,
So we do, he said.
and stroked his beard. We also get stuck.
Then stroked his beard.
Arr.
We also get stuck on our. 세 번째,
The Pirate Substitute. Written by Tor.
The Pirate Substitute.
Everyone was out of their desks and playing except for Jack.
Everyone was out of their desks and playing except for Jack.
It was 8:05.
It was 8:05,
Mrs. Martinez still wasn't there,
and Mr. Martinez still wasn't there,
which could only mean one thing.
which could only mean one thing.
A substitute teacher.
A substitute teacher.
The door burst open,
The door burst open,
and there stood a pirate.
and there stood a pirate.
His peg leg thumped on the floor as he walked to the board.
His back leg thumped on the floor as he walked to the board.
Me name is Pirate Chalkbeard, he said.
My name is Pirate Chalkbeard, he said.
He pulled back his sleeve, showing a long piece of chalk in place of a hand.
He pulled back his sleeve, showing a long piece of chalk in place of a hand.
The students gasped.
The students gasped.
Pirate Chalkbeard wrote his name on the board.
Pirate Chalkbeard wrote his name on the board.
Everyone stared except Jack,
Everyone stared except Jack,
who was busy drawing.
who was busy drawing.
Pirate Chalkbeard taught at lightning speed. In literature,
Pirate Chalkbeard taught the lightning speed.
read to them from Treasure Island.
In
In
literature,
Pirate Chalkbeard taught at lightning speed. In literature, read to
in literature,
them from Treasure Island.
he read to them from Treasure Island. In PE,
Pretended the jungle gym was a pirate ship.
they pretend the jungle gym was a pirate ship.
Held up a giant map and pointed out the oceans.
In geography, he held up a giant map and pointed out the oceans.
The students laughed and tried yelling, "Ahoy!" and "Scurvy dog!"
The students laughed and tried yelling ahoy and scurvy dog.
Pirate Chalkbeard thumped to the back of the room.
Pirate Chalkbeard thumped to the back of the room.
What have ye there, young Jack?
What have you there, young Jack?
He asked.
He asked.
Have ye heard a word of mine all day?
Have you heard a word of mine all way?
Aye, said Jack.
Aye, said Jack.
Pirate Chalkbeard leaned over Jack's desk.
Pirate Chalkbeard leaned over Jack's desk.
He looked at his notebook. Then
He looked at his notebook,
looked at Jack.
then looked at Jack.
May I?
May I?
He asked.
He asked.
Jack nodded.
Jack nodded.
And Pirate Chalkbeard lifted the notebook and stared at it for some time.
The pirate Chalkbeard lifted the notebook and stared at it for some time.
It was a drawing of a pirate surrounded by skeletons.
It was a drawing of a pirate surrounded by skeletons,
But putting up a wonderful fight. At last, Chalkbeard handed the notebook back to Jack.
At last, Chalkbeard handed the notebook back to Jack.
Arr, it's a beauty, the pirate cried.
It's a beauty, Pirate
Wiped
said.
away a tear with his chalk hand.
He wiped away a tear with his chalk hand.
It left a white smear down his cheek.
It left a white smear down his cheek.
At last, he cleared his throat and stomped back to the front of the room.
At last, he cleared his throat and stomped back to the front of the room.
It's time to dig up me booty, he said.
It's time to dig up me booty, he said.
Your what?
Your what?
Boy asked.
A boy asked.
Me treasure,
Me treasure,
Pirate Chalkbeard said.
Pirate Chalkbeard said.
He opened his chest and pulled out shovels.
He opened his chest and pulled out shovels.
He held up an old map with a black X painted on it.
He held up an old map with a black X painted on it.
The treasure appeared to be near the swings.
The treasure appeared to be near the swings.
To the playground, he cried.
To the playground, he cried.
The students followed their substitute teacher out the door to the playground.
The students followed their substitute teacher out the door to the playground.
The class started digging.
The class started digging.
Sand flew into the air.
Sand flew into the air.
Heave ho,
Heave ho,
cried the pirate.
cried the pirate.
Finally, they heard a clink as they hit something solid.
Finally, they heard a clink as they hit something solid.
Pirate Chalkbeard lug out an enormous wooden chest.
They helped Pirate Chalkbeard lug on an enormous wooden chest.
He creaked open the lid.
He creaked open the lid.
Inside were pirate costumes.
Inside were pirate costumes.
The class pulled them out in a rush.
The class pulled them out in a rush.
By the time Jack reached inside the treasure chest,
By the time Jack reached inside the treasure chest,
there was nothing left.
there was nothing left.
Pirate Chalkbeard winked, took off
Pirate Chalkbeard winked,
his hat,
took off his hat,
set it on Jack's head.
and set it on Jack's head.
I was once a shy pirate myself, you know, he said.
I was once a shy pirate myself, you know, he said.
You were? Jack asked.
You? Jack asked.
I, the pirate said.
I, the pirate said.
Jack felt the brim of the large hat and smiled. Thank you,
Jack felt the brim of the large hat and smiled.
he said.
Thank you, Captain, he said.
Arr, you wear it well,
You wear it well,
Chalkbeard said.
Chalkbeard said.
Remember, matey, it isn't the size of your voice that matters.
Remember, Mary, it isn't the size of your voice that matters.
It's the size of your heart.
It's the size of your heart.
I'll remember, Jack said.
I remember Jack. I remember, Jack said.
Jack grinned. I know why it takes pirates so long.
Jack grinned. I know why it takes pirates
To learn the alphabet, he said.
so long to learn the alphabet, he said.
Said Chalkbeard.
Oh, said Chalkbeard.
And why might that be?
And why might that be?
Because they spend years at sea,
Because they spent years at sea,
Jack said.
Jack said.
Chalkbeard laughed.
Chalkbeard
So we
laughed.
do, he said.
So we do, he said.
And stroked his beard. We also
Then
get
stroked his beard.
stuck on
We also get stuck on our. 네 번째,
The Pirate Substitute. Written by Cody
the pirate substitute.
Anderson. Everyone was out of their desks and playing except for Jack.
Everyone was out of their desks and playing except for Jack.
It was 8:05
It was 8:05
and Mrs. Martinez still wasn't there,
and Mrs. Martinez still wasn't there,
which could only mean one thing.
which could only mean one thing.
A substitute teacher.
A substitute teacher.
The door burst open and there stood a pirate.
The door burst open and there stood the pirate.
His peg leg thumped on the floor as he walked to the board.
His peg leg thumped on the floor as he walked to the board.
Me name is Pirate Chalkbeard, he said.
My name is Pirate Chalkbeard, he said.
He pulled back his sleeve,
He pulled back his sleeve,
showing a long piece of chalk in place of a hand.
showing a long piece of chalk in place of a hand.
The students gasped.
The students gasped.
Pirate Chalkbeard wrote his name on the board.
Pirate Chalkbeard wrote his name on the board.
Everyone stared except Jack,
Everyone stared except Jack,
who was busy drawing.
who was busy drawing.
Pirate Chalkbeard taught at lightning speed.
Pirate Chalkbeard taught the writing speed.
Literature, he read
In literature,
them from Treasure Island.
in
Pirate Chalkbeard taught at lightning speed. In literature, he read to them from Treasure Island.
in literature, he read to them from Treasure Island.
PE, they pretended the jungle gym was a pirate ship.
In PE, they pretend the jungle gym
In
was a pirate ship.
geography, he held up a giant map and pointed out the ocean.
In geography, he held up a giant map and pointed out the oceans.
The students laughed and tried yelling,
The students laughed and tried yelling,
"Ahoy!" and "Scurvy dog!"
"Ahoy!" and "Scurvy dog!"
Pirate Chalkbeard thumped to the back of the room.
Pirate Chalkbeard thumped to the back of the room.
"What have ye there, young Jack?"
What have you there, young Jack?
he asked.
He asked.
"Have ye heard a word of mine all day?"
Have you heard the word of mine all day?
Jack.
I said Jack.
Pirate Chalkbeard leaned over Jack's desk.
Pirate Chalkbeard leaned over Jack's desk.
He looked at his notebook, then looked at Jack.
He looked at his notebook and
"May I?" he asked.
May I? He asked.
Jack nodded, and Pirate Chalkbeard lifted the notebook and stared at it for some time.
Jack nodded at Pirate Chalkbeard, left the notebook and stared at it for some time.
It was a drawing of a pirate surrounded by skeletons, but putting up a wonderful fight.
It was a drawing of a pirate surrounded by skeletons, but putting up a wonderful fight.
At last, Chalkbeard handed the notebook back to Jack.
At last, Chalkbeard handed the notebook back to Jack.
It's
It's a beauty,
he cried.
the pirate cried.
Wiped away a tear with his chalk hand.
He wiped away a tear with his chalk can.
It left a white smear down his cheek.
It was a white smeared down his cheek.
At last, he cleared his throat and stomped back to the front of the room.
At last he cleared his throat, stomped back to the front of the room.
It's time to dig up me booty, he
It's time to dig up my booty, he
said.
said.
You're what? A boy asked.
You what? A boy asked.
Me treasure, Pirate Chalkbeard said.
Me,
Opened
me treasure, Pirate Chalkbeard said.
his chest and pulled out shovels.
He opened his chest and pulled out shovels.
He held up an old map with a black X painted on it.
He held up an old map with a black X paint on it.
The treasure appeared to be near the swings.
The treasure appeared to the near the swings.
To the playground, he cried.
To the playground, he cried.
The students followed their substitute teacher out the door to the playground.
The students followed their substitute teacher out the door to the playground.
The class started digging. Sand flew into the air.
The class started digging. Sand flew into the air.
Heave ho, cried the pirate.
Heave ho, cried the pirate.
Finally, they heard a clink as they hit something solid.
Finally, they heard a clink as they hit something solid.
Pirate Chalkbeard lug out an enormous wooden chest.
They helped Pirate Chalkbeard lug out an enormous wooden chest.
He creaked open the lid.
He creaked open the lid.
Inside were pirate costumes.
Inside were pirate costumes.
The class pulled them out in a rush.
The class pulled them out in a rush.
By the time Jack reached inside the treasure chest,
By the time Jack reached inside the treasure chest,
there was nothing left.
there was nothing left.
Pirate Chalkbeard winked,
Pirate Chalkbeard winked,
took off his hat,
took off his hat,
it on Jack's head.
and sat it on Jack's head.
I was once a shy pirate myself, you know,
I was once a shy pirate myself.
he said.
You know, he said.
You were? Jack asked.
You were? Jack asked.
I, the pirate said.
I, the pirate said.
Jack felt the brim of the large hat and smiled.
Jack felt the brim of the large hat and smiled.
Thank you, Captain,
Thank you, Captain,
he said.
he said.
Arr, you wear it well,
You wear it well,
Chalkbeard said.
Chalkbeard said.
Remember, matey, it isn't the size of your voice that matters.
It isn't the size of your voice that matters.
It's the size of your heart.
It's the size of your heart.
I'll remember, Jack said.
I'll remember, Jack said.
Jack grinned.
Jack grinned.
I know why it takes pirates so long to learn the alphabet, he said.
I know why it takes pirates so long to learn the alphabet, he said.
Said Chalkbeard.
Oh, said Chalkbeard.
And why might that be?
And why might that be?
Because they spend years at sea.
Because they spend years at sea, Jack said.
Chalkbeard laughed. So we do, he said.
Chalkbeard laughed. So we do, he said.
We also get stuck on R.
We also get stuck on R. And